Hey guys, so this is an explanation of the data analysis portion for your density lab that we did. And what I've done here is just kind of given you an overview of what you should have in your table. I didn't put in all the information, but you can kind of see the general overview here. I went ahead and put in an example for the 0% so you can see how to generate your graph. So what you're going to do is first go ahead and fill in all the table with all your data so far. So you've got your 0% volume and mass for your different sucrose solutions all the way to 60%. And then what you're going to do is go ahead and create a sucrose solution table for the density results for each percent solution, and I'll show you how to get that. And then you're going to go ahead and put in your cola information for your volume and your mass of that volume for the cola that you tested. So how do you get this density information? Because that's how you're going to determine your percent sucrose in your cola. And the way you're going to do that is you're going to highlight, so I'm just going to go ahead and highlight this here, and I'm going to go to insert, and I'm going to go to XY scatter, and there's my graph. So I'm going to make this a little bigger so you can see it. So I'm going to go ahead and just make this 0%, and I'm going to change my chart to include axes labels, so you can see 0% mass, which that is not the, you can change the name of that later, but you can kind of get the idea that's the 0% one. And then here on my x-axis is going to be my volume, and then on my y-axis is going to be my mass. And then up here I'm going to go ahead and just call this sucrose, percent sucrose, because I want to go ahead and put all of my data on this one table. I'll show you how to do that. First, you need to go ahead and figure out how to add a trend line, which you may know how to do based upon the previous weeks, but I'm going to go ahead and show you again. So you right click and click add trend line, and then you're going to have this pop up on the side here, and you're going to click set intercept and display equation on the table. Now you've got your equation for your 0% sucrose solution. Now what you're going to notice is there's your slope, and that's going to give you the density because you've got volume over mass, because y is volume, x is your, mass is your y, because mass over volume, grams per milliliter, is density. So y is your mass, y over x is going to be mass over volume, which is density. So this is going to, your slope is your density for your 0%. So I'm going to plug that one in. So that's 1.0031. I'm going to put that into my density equation here, 1.0031. That's my density of my 0%. So what you're going to do is you're going to do that for each percent solution, and you can add this all into one graph. You just right click on your graph, you're going to click on select data, and then just click add, little plus sign, and go ahead and call that 10%, and then you're going to select, don't do that, put it on the name, 10%, and then you're going to select the x and the y values. So again, your x would be your volume, your y would be your mass for your 10%. So I'm going to click here, I'm going to do my x as my volume, and then I'm going to click this little drop down, and then I can click my y. I don't have any masses, of course, here, but if I did, it would work. So then I'm going to click OK, and then it put in my 10% solution. So you might be able to, when you select your data, you might be able to change the name of that other one as well to, see if I can change that actually. Select data, and then the name, just call it 0%. So 0%. I don't know why it does that weird name the other way, but anyway. So now you have 0%, 10%. You can see the well, you don't see the other graph because I don't have any y data, but you can see how you can put them all on one graph and display the equations for all of them here. So once you get your density for each percent solution, you're just going to highlight it, generate a graph again, and then you're going to get a slope. That slope, and when you set the intercept to 0, is going to be in the form of y equals mx plus b. And you don't have a plus b because you set the intercept to 0. So your y is going to be, so I'll just go ahead and write this out. My y is going to be my, in this case, it's going to be my percent sucrose. My x is going to be my density. Now this just helps me to remember. And my slope is going to be my, well, in this case, the slope is just a number. It just tells you the density versus sucrose. So what you're going to do is you're going to graph your cola information, and when you get the equation for the line for that, the slope for this is going to equal the density of soda. So what you're going to do is you're going to take this M, and you're going to plug it into the density of your soda here. And so you're going to plug that number in. You'll get a slope for this graph. And so if you know two variables and you can solve for x, that's what you're going to do. So you're going to know the slope for this graph. So you're going to know the slope, and you're going to know the density from the COLA information that you got here. And you're going to be able to plug that in. So let's say our density was like 1.134. And my slope of this graph was, let's say, like 3.567 or 67, right? I could say I want to solve for x, so I'm going to say this is going to be equal to my y, or let's say, yeah, my density. Sorry, densities should be, yeah. So I can do. Make sure I did this right. You can take. And you can solve for the solve for x. So let's say my y is. I may have gotten this back. Let's see. X is. Well, you might have to flip these around, but that's kind of how you're going to solve that. Is you're going to solve for the unknown percent sucrose. So whether you're solving for x or y is up. You know, you just make sure you just whatever you plot here that you solve for your y or your x. But that's how you're going to solve for your unknown percent sucrose, is by using this equation, y equals mx plus b, and there's no plus b, of course. And then you can do that. So we're looking for y in this case. So you could just say, you know, it's going to be my slope times x is going to be my solution for y. Or if you're trying to solve for x, it's going to be y over m. So however you set this up, if you put density on your x or on your y, it doesn't matter. You just have to solve for that. So yeah, there you go. That's how you solve for it, and that's all you do. So let me know if you have any questions. I know it's hard that I don't have all the data, but if I could plug all of it in, it'd probably be a little bit easier to see what I'm doing. But that's how you solve for the percent sucrose in COLA. So there you go.